Senator Ted Cruz joins me now. All right, Senator, before we talk politics, you're seeing missiles flying all over the Middle East now into Tehran. What is that going to do to this election?
Well, look, it illustrates just how the entire world has gotten more dangerous, the incredible weakness of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as commander-in-chief. You look, when Donald Trump was president, we had peace and prosperity. In fact, we had peace flowering in the Middle East and the Abraham Accords being signed. Now we've had Israel at war for over a year. We had October 7th. And I got to say, this was funded by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They gave over $100 billion to Iran. And right now, what the president should say that Joe Biden has not said is America stands unequivocally with Israel, period, the end. That's what we should say. And you know what? When Donald Trump is reelected, that's what he's going to say.
All right, because this wasn't like this when Donald Trump was president. Iran was broke. You had the Abraham Accords. Oil prices were manageable. Yep. It's all just blown up to smithereens. We got to get it back under control. Texas seems to be the epicenter of the race right now. You got Trump down there with Rogan. You got Kamala with Beyonce. Why is Texas the hot spot tonight?
Well, you had both presidential candidates in Texas. I was with President Trump today in Texas. He gave a fantastic press conference focused on the human tragedy of the border invasion and illegal immigration, focused on the victims of illegal immigrants, people like Jocelyn Nungare, the beautiful 12-year-old girl raped and murdered by illegal aliens, released by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was in Texas at the same time, of course, didn't talk about illegal immigration at all. She was with my opponent, Colin Allred. And I got to say, Colin Allred is Kamala Harris. They are both open border radicals. And the reason Kamala Harris was there is because Chuck Schumer has been explicit. I am his #1 target in the country. They are flooding cash into this state, Jesse. Chuck Schumer just yesterday put another $5 million into this race. He's spending over $100 million trying to beat me. So I would encourage your viewers, please go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org. We have cash coming in from every direction. $5 million of brand new TV attack ads today from Chuck Schumer. We're going to win, but the last poll that came out in this race showed it as a 1-point race. So I need your help at tedcruz.org right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. Usually these Senate Democrat candidates don't want to be seen with Kamala. Up here in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, none of these guys, I don't know Kamala. Who's Kamala? Scheduling conflict. What does that say about Kamala Harris, that she's that unpopular that in competitive races in America, no one wants anything to do with her?
Well, she can't defend her record, and nobody else can as well. It's why you look back to when Kamala debated President Trump, and the first question asked of her was, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And she rather famously said, look, I was raised in the middle class, the ultimate non sequitur, so bad even SNL mocked her for it. She can't argue her record is a success. And by the way, Kamala Harris's record is the same as Colin Allred's. They're both open border radicals, high taxes, high inflation. And you know, going back to your opening question about Israel, both Kamala Harris and Colin Allred have undermined Israel repeatedly. Colin Allred voted against providing emergency weapons to Israel, and he has supported Kamala Harris's radical policy of giving $100 billion to Iran, while the Ayatollah chants death to America and death to Israel and funds Hamas and Hezbollah. Kamala Harris and Colin Allred have been funding that rabid Israel hate and rabid America hate. And we need a strong commander-in-chief again. When Donald Trump was president, I'll tell you, I was there when we opened our new embassy in Jerusalem. It was a moment, it was an extraordinary moment on the 70th anniversary of the creation of the modern state of Israel. And President Trump stood strong, and our enemies were afraid of us. The weakness we have today from the commander-in-chief has made the world more dangerous, and that's what makes the presidential race so important. And it's also what makes the Senate race so important, because the difference between my record and Colin Allred's record is night and day.
All right. They can never turn Texas blue. This country will never be the same. All right. Ted Cruz, have a great weekend. Keep working hard.